This is our first episode since the Boston Celtics won the NBA Finals. Championship banner number 18 in the books. And honestly, I'm just going to kind of dive right into it. I didn't think that Tatum's or Brown's market would not go up as much as it hasn't. Are you following along?
Would
Because
not co yeah, I
I
got you.
haven't seen a spike or a growth in the market. And I have a couple reasons why. But before we get into it, Ricky, how are you doing? How are you today?
Well, I'm good. I'm spending the day here in Milwaukee, going around thanking everyone for Drew Holiday. I got the house that Luca and Kyrie built behind me, all those
Uh-huh.
bricks.
Yep. It looks good.
Uh, yeah, and then just on the Celtics championship high.
That's what it's all about. I mean, I obviously here in Boston we're very spoiled. But it's not like we haven't been through heartbreaks or the hard work wasn't put in. And other cities have obviously reaped their own rewards. I mean, we only have four teams around here, and I say only like it's like nothing. But like you look at New York, LA, California. I mean, there's so many teams that go around in a lot of these cities and states. And just like you could have a championship team every year for 5 years and not have the same team win twice. So that's how I look at it there. And I like what you said about the house that Kyrie and Luca built. That was so funny. But I wanted to talk about the Tatum market because there was a gentleman who came into the shop and he was looking at my last Jason Tatum rookie card. It was a Prism Emergent. It was a PSA 10. And I remember when I did have it a couple weeks ago, maybe it's about a $90, $100 card. We look it back up after, I don't know, probably 3 days after they won the championship. And it's like a $50, $60 card. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Tatum's market's crashing now that he's won, but I just kind of want to pick your brain on why. I mean, we were always sitting here talking about, oh, Luka's value is going to go up if he wins. Tatum's market's going to go up if he wins. We saw it with Giannis. And I mean, most recent superstar. We haven't seen it with Nikola Jokic just because he's a big guy. But these wings, these guards, these forwards, I think is what really brings the sex appeal to the hobby. So I just kind of want to pick your brain a little bit why you possibly could think, and I'll give you mine after. We didn't see the spike in Tatum, Brown, you pick whoever's cards, then we maybe should have thought.
I feel like Brown's cards have gone up a little bit. They've gone up. I think they've gone up more than Tatum's have
Do you have a reason behind it?
because no one expected Brown. No one besides us and Celtics fans. No one expected Brown to have the performance that he had. So he's always been flying under the radar, kind of unfortunately always been in Tatum's shadow.
Mhm.
But his playoff performance kind of showed everyone, like, hey, I'm legit too.
It's funny. I was driving in and I was thinking, and I was like, all right, when you think of the 5 to 10 best players in the NBA, you just kind of think Tatum's in that mix. Doesn't matter where, but he's in that mix. And when you think of the top 5 to 10 players in the league, not a lot of people think of Jalen Brown. And I wonder if that had something to do with it because now he's solidifying himself as that top 5 to 10 NBA player. But also, I was kind of thinking, it's like, all right, well, the draft in general is such a big part of the hobbies because you're gonna buy the first overall pick. You're not gonna buy the last overall pick. And well, unless they play well like Brock Purdy, different story. But like when Tatum was selected third overall, you expected him to be third overall, first, second, third. But when the Celtics took Jalen Brown all these years ago, people were like, "Who the hell is this guy? Like, where is this coming from?" So I think like if you're gonna start at like a level playing field, I think Brown kind of started below the level playing field just because of he was selected so high, and people were kind of like, well, "Who's this guy? Why him?"
Mhm.
But obviously, Brown's play, like you mentioned, just really, really played very well. He played arguably great, if not better than Tatum, definitively speaking. But I want to know if Tatum won the NBA Finals MVP, which he easily could have. I think it could have gone either way. Would we have seen the spike in Tatum cards compared to Brown? And if so, does the NBA Finals, the NBA Finals MVP possibly mean more than we could have thought? 'Cause I think if Tatum won the, Finals MVP, I think his cards would have spiked, because
Really?
the knock on Curry for all these years was he didn't have a Finals MVP until he got one. Even though he had 3 championships prior, he didn't have the Finals MVP. Then he beat the Celtics a couple years ago, he got the Finals MVP, and now you don't hear a damn thing about it. And I think that's what we might start hearing down the road, especially if the Celtics are able to win maybe 2 or 3.
I mean, I don't know any other way to word this, but I don't understand why the Finals MVP is necessarily that big of a deal. If
Mhm.
especially, if your team wins, that's all you're there for. You're there to win the championship.
That shows what matters.
You're not there to win the Finals MVP. You're there to win the championship. But
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, he had a great performance. They both did, and at the end of the day, the Finals MVP was a coin toss.
It really was, because I felt like through the first 2 games, I think it was definitively Browns, and then Tatum started to play better, and then they both sucked in game 4. So then it was like, whoever had the best performance in game 5, which I think it was Tatum, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think Tatum had the better game in game 5, but Brown
Yeah, I
still
think
won.
he was like 2 rebounds short of a triple double.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, I know the knock on Tatum all playoffs was you gotta score more, but honestly, who the hell matters? And I know we touched upon this last time. It's like, who cares how many points you score? It's a race to 16 wins. Just get to the 16 wins and then be done with it. And you can worry about the stat padding during the regular season. And it was nice to see Tatum kind of have that mentality, because I feel like in years past, it's always been about points and
Him.
points and points with him. But he's kind of stepped back more the mentor leadership kind of a role, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what won the Celtics championship. They bought into the team play. They bought into the defense. They realized that defense is just as important as offense, if not more.
Hmm.
And that's where it finally got them over the hump.
And I know I've been hard on Joe Mazzulla in recent videos and recent episodes. Obviously, I've said that I didn't like him as a coach. I didn't think he had that it factor, kind of that Udoka factor that he had. That hard nosed defense. I was proven wrong, and it's awesome to see the local guy here in Rhode Island, especially when I was in Johnston. There was the connection there of having him be the coach to lead the Celtics to the championship. So it's heartwarming from that regard. And obviously, I pride myself on coming to the table with good talking points and reasonable thought processes. And I'd like to think most of the time that I'm right or have a strong opinion towards being correct. Sometimes I'm wrong, and in this case, I was wrong, because Missoula was able to get the Celtics over the hump. And I want to ask you this, Ricky: since basketball's over, hockey's over with the Stanley Cup Finals ending on Monday, where does baseball stand right now? I know we didn't kind of put this on the bulletin board, but I want to kind of ask you, where does baseball stand right now? Because football is starting soon, sooner than we think. It's like on a month from now. But of course, the national, which is a topic we're going to be talking about in a minute, people are going to be buying football left and right because training camps, OTAs, all that good stuff is going to be right on the horizon from then. But we're in this grace period where it's just baseball, just baseball. Does that mean anything? Or should we just care less? Obviously, we care, but
Yeah.
people
I
in the
mean,
hobby.
the people who are always buying baseball are always going to be buying baseball, whether it's, spring training, off season, right now, where it's only baseball being played. Um, I feel like the hobbies focused is going to be with football, just because that's coming up and that's always hot during the national. That's what everyone's looking for. So baseball will probably have the spotlight for a couple weeks, but people are going to be focused on football.
So, and I agree completely with you. And I kind of, while you were talking, I was kind of thinking, I was like, does baseball take a back seat because people don't know what cards of these players to buy? And I say that because when you think of like a basketball rookie card or even a football rookie card, there's so many to choose from. It's typically the Prism rookie card is the hobby's generalized fan favorite. And when you think of baseball, there's obviously your top series 1, 2, and update rookies. You got your Topps Chrome, and you got every other brand too under the sun. But then you got the Bowman First as well.
Mhm.
And you got the Bowman Chrome First and such like that. So like people ask me all the time, it's like, oh, what kind of baseball cards do I buy? You know, I kind of tell them, I'm like, well, baseball kind of has two different cards for you to buy. One being the Bowman First, and one being, like their tops, whatever their first tops rookie card is, whether it's series 1, 2, or update. Those are like kind of the ones that people want to buy. So it almost like, I don't want to say divides people, but it kind of confuses people in a way that football and basketball doesn't, because yeah, there's Mosaic, Prism, Select. I mean, there's a gazillion different brands, but at least they're all NFL, NBA, jerseyed cards, and for the most part. Whereas baseball, it's like, I don't know, do I want his prospect card or do I want his rookie card?
Yeah.
So obviously people generally like the Bowman First rookie, but should people maybe kind of look at the actual rookie cards in a little bit more of a light in terms of they should be more popular or they should be more valuable? Or is it just gonna be the Bowman First that's always gonna wear the crown in baseball? And is there a confusion between Bowman First and Topps rookie cards? Like, do you kind of see what I'm saying here, and do you agree with that?
Mhm. Well, the first problem with baseball is finding out which one is the true rookie card.
Hmm.
Because like basketball, there's a lot of sets, there's a lot of, inserts and all that stuff. So the first problem is you got to find out which one is the real rookie card. That's the one that's going to have the most value. And then, and Topps Chrome is very popular when it doesn't have quality control issues.
You can say that about everything. Oh, Panini, it looks beautiful when they don't have a print line going across the
Yeah.
middle.
But um, if you're asking me personally, well, I can't even say that because Mookie Betts doesn't really have autographs. But me personally, I'd rather, if I'm, my grail is a Mookie Betts Bowman Chrome first, not like a Mookie Betts rookie autograph
Hmm.
or Juan Soto Bowman Chrome first. Like those are the cards that I want. I'm not necessarily dying for their rookie autographs. Mookie Betts has like
So let me
very,
ask you why. So, like, if I was to present to you a Bowman Chrome First and a Topps Chrome rookie of Mookie Betts, PSA 10, whatever, 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 why would you favor the Bowman? Because they're both going to be Red Sox uniforms. They're both going to be first in their own right. But why the Bowman?
because for me personally, I think they look better sometimes,
Okay. That's a good point.
and that's just his first official Topps autograph.
So I was thinking while you were talking, I was like, does this, it's not division, but this confusion in quote unquote first card, whether it's the Bowman First or the Topps rookie card, does this potential confusion for people, along with the along with the lack of, I don't know, the okay, so football's so easy for people to watch. It's a very casual sport for people to watch, whereas baseball is not. Um, does that, plus the potential confusion of the two first cards, play a factor together into why baseball is like that third step down from football and basketball? Does that make sense?
I mean, like I was saying with people who collect baseball are always going to collect baseball, whatever.
Mhm.
Baseball fans are always going to,
But like for like the general audience, because like baseball is the third out of the three: football,
yeah.
basketball, baseball. So like from a general perspective, like a lot of people will kind of gear towards football just because it's more easy for them to watch. So therefore they can kind of get attached to it quicker. Whereas baseball, though they've sped up the game, in the past couple of years, they still have that, they still struggle by bringing in the casual fan. Then you throw on top of this potential confusion of what's their first card or whatever, which obviously it's clear today for us, but like, oh, do I collect the Bowman? Do I collect the Tops? What do I do? You throw that into the mix. Could that be maybe those two together be the reason why baseball is kind of like the third in line.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It is kind of confusing. It's a lot to learn.
Especially especially when I think and then you can also throw into the mix where like, oh, Mookie Betts, no, I don't want to use Mookie Betts. Like O'Neal Cruz, for instance, his Bowman first is with the Dodgers, but his rookie card is with the Pirates. So it's like, well, how did he get from the Dodgers to the Pirates? Like, people might not be able to draw that line there. Obviously, he got traded, but like people might be like, how'd this happen? And like, oh, he's not even on the Pirates uniform, because he's on the Pirates now. Whereas, Mookie, for instance, his rookie card was on the Red Sox. So at least you can kind of draw that connection to the Bowman first. So it makes sense. Whereas a lot of these prospects get traded early on in their minor league career. So, I mean, Fernando Tatis, another perfect example. Um, White Sox card, but he's on the Padres. And, his rookie card was with the Padres. So I think baseball unintentionally has this deficit that they put upon themselves. Now, like you were saying, baseball collectors are always going to collect baseball. And I think that's where the true collectors live, is with baseball, whether it's collecting the sets of the newer or the older cards, collecting the Hall of Famers, the legends of the vintage era. Baseball will always be the number one collected sport, my opinion. Football and basketball, way less collectors, with the exception of like your favorite player, but it is way more flippable than baseball is. Any reason why it's more flippable? I mean, I don't have a reason, just kind of spewing it out there, but like now that I was talking about it, like why? Why?
um, I don't know because you would think. I agree with you, baseball being the most collectible, by the way. But
Thank you.
you would think with baseball being the most collectible, you'd have more people, buying into it, trying to sell to those collectors because collectors are the ones who pay more.
And they got the most money, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe that's something people haven't figured out yet. You just crack the code, maybe, but
I'm the code cracker.
um, yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know why using that on
I'm
baseball.
thinking of it too, and I don't know why either. It's just like, huh, interesting. I want to dive into Paul Skeens versus Mookie Betts. I know we've been kind of talking about Mookie Betts a little bit, and people who are probably watching this episode now, the post is already gone, but a couple of days ago, I put on my story. Who would you rather have? A two-time World Series winner, Bowman first, auto, RPA, whatever, doesn't matter, pick your poison. Or would you rather have All right, so I just had UPS drop by, so I lost my train of thought here, but I'll just kind of recap really quickly. Would you rather have the Bowman Chrome first, rookie card, RPA, whatever, PSA 10, whatever black label of a two times World Series winner, insert whoever, or would you rather have the hottest pitcher right now in the market? And Ricky, I'm sure I know where you stand on this. However, I know a lot of people kind of say one thing, but I know they mean another. And what I mean by that is 75, 74%, excuse me, are saying they'd rather have Mookie Betts, who is that two times World Series winner that I'm using in my example. I know we've been talking about him a lot. We can insert Corey Seager in here for all I care because he's also a two times World Series winner. And people still don't care. Or we could throw in Paul Skeens, who is the hottest pitcher right now on the planet Earth. And a lot of people say, again, 3/4 say that they'd rather have the two times World Series winner. And it's selling for less. So you get to save yourself almost $20. But Ricky, do you really believe this? Do you really believe this? Because I sure as hell don't. I sure as hell don't. I'm just gonna hand you the mic for a bit.
I like to be optimistic. I like to think that you actually have, some collectors that follow you. Well, some smart collectors that follow you. Um, but yeah, no, this doesn't reflect the market at all. I don't. I think some people were just trying to get some brownie points from you.
And I don't understand why. I understand the hype of Paul Skeens. I do. But when you look at the fact that the dude's throwing 100 miles an hour more than any other pitcher, and he missed the first month because he was in the minor leagues, I I hate to be negative Nancy, and I was the same way with Jackson Holiday, but this 100-mile-an-hour stuff is gonna eventually catch up to him where he may need Tommy John. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it soon, like a couple years from now. Of course, I don't want him to. Again, I'm not trying to be negative Nancy and mean like I was with Jackson Holiday, but like, let's say he has like a bad month, 0-3 with a 6 ERA or whatever. He's averaging like 3 1/3 innings in those like 4 or 5 starts. People still gonna be all over him. Like, I mean, we've had good pitchers come up in the past, and people get all excited about it. And then they have one bad starter, they get brought back down, and people just don't care about them anymore. Most recently, Grayson Rodriguez. I love this example because he was a top prospect. I think
Mhm.
his highest was, I think, third in Major League Baseball until he got called up a couple years ago by the Orioles because they just pump out prospects left and right. And he's actually a really good pitcher. I don't have his stats in front of me, but he's a very serviceable pitcher. No one cares. Nobody cares. I want to say he's probably the number 2 guy behind Corbin Burns in that Orioles rotation. But I just think this excitement over the pitcher, I hope it's a new phenomenon that's here to stay. But I think it's going to kind of blow over because you only see these pitchers one in every 5 days, sometimes six, and they 4 or 5 innings at the best. I know Paul Skeens is a different animal and a different breed, but we don't know what his career is going to look like. And people want to buy into that. Oh, he could. Well, he's not going to get 5,000 strikeouts. We know that. He's not going to win 300 games because that's just not going to happen anymore. But here you have Mookie Betts or Corey Seager or whoever. Nobody cares about established superstars, Ricky. Why do we have to keep having this conversation? It blows my mind.
I mean, it's all about hype. It doesn't help necessarily right now that Paul Steen's having some good starts and Mookie Betts out with broken hands. So we are hearing Paul Skeen's names a lot more right now than Mookie. So that definitely, pumps the market a little bit, but
So like, oh
it'll
crap,
not make sense to me.
I just lost it. Hold on. So I just pulled up Mookie Betts' stats here because I like to have fun. Can you see this?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. So like Mookie Betts is like obviously a superstar in the league. He's arguably one of the top 5, 10 players at any given day in the league. He
he's a
is
hall.
31 years old. What's that?
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's already a Hall of Fame. I mean, look at this resume right here. Like, I mean, Jackson Holiday, it's going to be tough for him to do this. And I hope he does. And I think he could. But like, it is pretty good for a 31-year-old who still has 7 years left on a 10-year contract that he signed. I mean, before the injury, 304, 10 home runs. I don't care about the advanced analytics. I just care about the good stuff. 405 on base, the slugging's
Mm.
488. And like, this is really good. Like, it's not like he's like an aging superstar who's struggling this year. Like, he's actually performing very, very well up until the injury. And plus, he's playing a new position this year, like shortstop. Obviously, I know he kind of was in the farm system of the Red Sox as a middle infielder, but like he's a right fielder for pretty much his entire career until recently. And I mean, the dude is still performing exceptionally well. So it's just like, and we could do the same thing with Corey Seager as well. But it's all about buying the hype right now. And I just think the hype is through the nose on Paul. Actually, I'm going to pull up Paul Skeens right now. Paul, if I can actually spell it right this time. Like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say Paul Skeens sucks because he doesn't. Like Jackson Holiday, when he got called up, he was terrible. But when you look at this 4-0, in 8 games started with a 2 ERA, like
That's pretty good.
that's something to buy into. I couldn't agree more. But it's just like now we have to ask ourselves, is this sustainable for this kid? I don't know. I really don't know because I couldn't tell you the last pitcher that people got excited over in the last pitcher that actually was able to sustain value and importance in the hobby. I know over the last 4 or 5 years or whatever, the hobby's just spiked, of course. and we really haven't seen a Paul Skeens in 4 or 5 years. But, like, even a living legend like Verlander, Scherzer, DeGrom, and these older guys who won the Cy Youngs, who's won the World Series, who's gone out and performed in these big games, whose rookie cards are actually fairly obtainable because they're not vintage cards. Like, obviously, if you want to talk about Koufax and Nolan Ryan, that's a different story. But, like, these guys' rookie cards were out within the last 10, 15, 20 years. So it's just, listen, I love the kid. I hope he performs well. But I want people to ask themselves, A, is this sustainable? And B, if there's another pitcher like Paul Skeens that comes down, are people just going to jump off the Paul Skeens wagon? What do you like to say? Was it buy the rumor, sell the what is it?
Buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
but
So so yeah, just go ahead.
in Paul Skeen's case, it kind of helps that he's dating.
Does that play Livy Dunn, right? Does that play a factor in this? Like, does it really? Like,
I
she has her
think
own
so
cards
because
too.
people were buying Travis Kelsey cards after him and Taylor Swift were official.
That's a good point.
So
That's a good point.
it
But
it, it, it opens up a new uh, group of people who are interested.
I just I just I got I say this every episode that we record. I just want consistency, and I'm never gonna get it.
Yeah, you're never gonna
I just need to accept the fact I'm never gonna get it.
consistently inconsistent.
I couldn't agree more. I it's true, and I hate it. It's true, and I hate it. All right, let's get this out of here. Stop the screen sharing. Paul Skeens, Mookie Betts stats as of June 26th. There you go. All right, Ricky, let's talk about the National. I've been making a couple of videos. I got a couple of videos coming out about the National, but is it overrated? Let's just ask the obvious question, because I tell people all the time, like, oh, if you can make it to Cleveland, please go. Please go. And people are like, maybe we'll see. And like, listen, that's fine. But like, if you want to sell your cards, no matter what you have, that is the place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you could think of any card right now, if you want to go out and buy it, you can go do that there. You're not gonna be able to do it at Cranston or Crown Jewel. You're not gonna be able to do it there. But is it worth it? Is the National worth it? You've been there. I've been there. Is it worth it?
Well, for me, I've only gone once, and luckily, I didn't have to pay travel expenses besides parking. But yeah, no, it was definitely worth it. I don't know. I like I said, I didn't pay travel expenses. So I don't know about that investment, hotel,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. But just to experience it, the show alone, yeah, it's definitely worth it. It can be overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing, but no, it was a great time. It was a great show. Saw a lot of stuff that you never see. Meet some people, reconnect with people. It was
So
just great.
I keep telling people that like this is like the single-handed best show. And I'm telling people in the videos that I'm making, you got to prepare, you got to, go in with a strategy, you got to sell, you got to save, whatever, bring cards, do whatever. Now, you're the one that jotted this point down. Was there something specific that you wanted to kind of talk about in regards to the National? Because I could talk
Um,
about the National all damn day.
no, not necessarily, but it's just like I've said it before on the show. You just got to go in with the plan because you will be overwhelmed.
So if the National was today, today was July 20, was it 4th, the first day, whatever it is. What's your plan? If we were to stop recording right now and go over to the National and walk in on July 20, whatever, Wednesday, 4 p.m., what's the plan?
Well, unfortunately, because I'm a baseball guy, but I would focus on the football because that's you're gonna hear the same 2, 3 main names at the national, and then some other guys. You're gonna hear Richardson, Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be looking for them. Everyone's going to be buying them. Everyone's going to be selling them. So that's who I would kind of go for. Football in
So
particular.
I know you. This is a whole new website that I'm used to. I know you mentioned. Look at this, $25 if you buy them right now until July 1st. Do you know the Fenway Card Show is $25? That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true.
It was. It
Blows
was.
my mind. Rick, how many tables did you say the Fenway Show was?
Actually, that's
Roughly.
not bad. $25 is not
If
bad.
you buy it right now, you have until July 1st. Then it becomes the door price, which is 30.
Even then, that's not bad. But how many tables was it? 200 maybe.
Okay, so for a 200 table show, it's $25. Someone said it was $15, makes all the sense in the world. Because I know Mohegan's like $15, the EC3 con, and that's about 170, 180, I believe. Makes sense.
Great
I
show.
couldn't tell you how many tables the National is. I don't even think it says how many tables there are. But like we could just kind of sit here and say there's probably like 10,000 tables. Like just kind of spitballing it with all the booths and all the vendors and stuff like that. Corporate, the breaking and all that fun stuff. Like I'd probably say 10,000 is a good bar. And you're paying $25 now. 5 days from now, you're paying 30. But I want to go back to your point about football, is because you're right. We're baseball guys and it's baseball season. But football is going to be the one that everyone's going to want. Stroud, Richardson, Levis, Young. You might get some collegiate cards of the newer guys, especially like the Leaf autos. I don't know if draft pick Prism is coming out anytime soon, but those cards are going to be out there. Um, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, so I know a while ago you were going to just do baseball, and then you kind of transitioned back to kind of doing football as well. When if you go to the national, okay, well, hypothetically, we're in this hypothetical world right now. You're at the national right now. If if you were to buy one card within like whatever your hypothetical budget is for your PC, like is there something specific you would look for? I know you kind of mentioned your Grail card is this Mookie Betts card or whatever. But like if you're at the national, would you be specifically hunting for this Grail card, or would you kind of just if it comes up, it comes up?
Mm.
Or any car that you want to buy for your PC, would you kind of be kind of focusing more on like, buying it for a good deal, hopefully kind of flipping it and turning it over? Or would you also kind of have in the back of your mind, oh, well, I'm looking at all these football cards, I'm also kind of thinking of like a Mookie Betts card too?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look for it. I don't know if I go there with the mentality that I'm going to get this card today.
Mm-hmm.
But if I find it for a decent price that I can trade into, buy, or whatever, I definitely wouldn't mind walking out with it.
I was hoping it would say tables. All dealers will have decorated trade booths. Second largest trade show event to occur in its history. Probably last year was probably its biggest, if I was to guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say is I can't imagine it's gonna top last year.
No, I heard it's the space wise, it's smaller. I don't
Yeah,
know how much. I think last year was 500,000. This is 420. So you're basically taking out two Walmarts of space for cards. Like, I mean, think of that. Yeah. So like me, like unintentionally, I started buying cards for my collection at shows. Like I'm not hunting for them, obviously, because I have the shop and I'm there for the shop. But
mhm.
like it just comes across. It just happens, and I don't know why or how, but I love it. It'll be a cheapy deepy Leaf auto of some Alabama player or some Kentucky player, and it's like, oh, $4? Absolutely, sure. I remember at the National, I got the booklet of Jerry Judy. I think it was number to 5, and it's like 4 or 5, which
Yeah,
is his jersey number in college. Absolutely awesome card, and like it doesn't take much to kind of appease the collector in you. Like it could be a dollar card, it could be $1,000 card, anything in between, and the collector inside you is like, oh, ooh, I like that. And
yeah. I mean,
go
I
ahead.
I, I haven't bought for my fuck. I haven't bought for my PC in a while because my PC's in back home in Boston.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I would just buy. I would just go through dollar boxes, whatever dollar Juan Soto movie bets card I find. I'd pull it out, I'd go on eBay if I see a PSA 7 rookie, I'm buying it.
Cracking
Like
it.
I like the cheap stuff. I don't necessarily need big cards to buy PC.
And like, I for people that want the big cards in their PC because they want the best of the best, I totally get it. I'm not here to say, I'm not here to dispute that. But like me, exactly. I'm the same way. I don't care about the dollars value of the card. I think the most expensive card in my collection might be like $100. And like
Mm,
that's not me bragging or anything or saying anything. It's just I don't need the $1,000 cards. I don't need the expensive cards because to me it's not about the price tag. It's about the player on the card or the memories that I have with that player or that set even or that team for whatever matter. It- That's like the glory of collecting is you can do so much with this hobby. Player, team, sport, era, decade, set, whatever. And you can have so much fun with it because there's so many ways to collect and none of them are the right way. It's your way. Now, there's a few wrong reasons, a few wrong ways to kind of collect. Obviously, scamming and fake cards and all that good stuff, all that bad stuff, actually. But you want to collect, Juan Soto, who's a player for the Yankees. Judge you a little bit, but go ahead. Um, it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. But like that's the glory of it. Like, I mean, people come into the shop all the time and they're like, "Oh, I really like collecting some player I haven't heard of in so long." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah." It's just like, I don't know, the stories. Like, how'd you start collecting that guy? You don't really get that with the flipping aspect of it.
mhm.
Oh, why'd you buy that guy to flip? Why'd you
Well,
buy that
'cause he's
CJ Stroud card to
heartbreaking.
flip? Oh, because he's the best quarterback going into, or one of the best quarterbacks going into next season.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when your two PC guys are playing for the Yankees and Dodgers now.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. Here's some hotel information. National experiences. The Collectors Lounge. This is a much more in-depth website than last year's website, so that's nice. Trade night, National Trade Night.
Oh, wow.
So okay, so it's funny. I was telling Kim the other day that the National itself. Okay, I need a little bit more backstory. Um, I was gonna set up at the I can't think of what it's called. My God, the Northeast Sports Card Expo, the
Mhm.
Marlboro Show, the 400 table show, and they advertised a trade day. Now I don't know if you saw this, but recently they like soon after they posted it, they took it down. Within like the 2-3 hours that it was up, though, got a lot of flack from people, a lot of hate. How dumb idea it was, myself included. Because why am I paying hundreds of dollars to set up at a card show when people can just go to the trade day for
Yeah,
free
right?
and get all their business done then? Like, right? That makes absolutely no sense. So that so I ended up not doing the show, not for that reason, for a personal reason. I ended up not doing the show. But before I told the guy, I was like, "This makes absolutely no sense." I expressed um my concern for it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna take it down." So they took it down. But then I was kind of filling in Kim on the situation. I was like, "Yeah, the National doesn't even do like their own like trade night. Like the National itself, like
Mhm.
Card
Yeah,
Collector 2
yeah.
and the Roadshow, they like do their own thing. Like people organize trade nights at like what was it, the hotel across the street or whatever. So like I'm not including those. But National Trade Night, look at that. The National Sports Collectors Convention is proud to announce National Trade Night 25th, 6th, and 7th. I don't know if they've ever done this in years past. I don't think so. But this is very exciting. This is very, very exciting to see that the National is kind of elevating and taking that next step up. Not they're not just not collecting table fees. They're not just collecting admission fees. No, no, no. They're trying to actually do something in addition to it. Look at 5 hours, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. That is crazy. Ricky,
Eh,
if you're going to the National, which I know you're kind of still up in the air on, would you be going to this?
Is it free?
It doesn't seem to be a price. Doesn't seem to be a
Mm,
price.
then hell yeah, I'm going to that.
All under one roof. More info to come. Stay tuned. I would assume so. I mean, what would the
So,
price be? What would price you out of it? Like $10, $20?
no, I'd be cool with $10. Actually, that's kind of. I wonder if they're making less room for the national itself to make room for that trade night.
Yeah, because it doesn't even say like where. Obviously, more info to
It
come. Blah, blah,
it
blah.
says one roof, so I'm assuming they're taking space that could have been used for the national for the trade night.
Yeah, because the national, I believe, ends at what probably like 6 o'clock at night. So that probably just kind of transitions over to yeah, but you're still gonna have like vendor booths or something like that. But you're probably right. They might just be kind of dedicating like a corner of the space. But like it's good to see them kind of wanting to dedicate space for trade night.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like
But now
that.
you're also taking away vendor tables as well. So like I'm just kind of curious to see like, all right, how do they benefit from this? Because if they just had the vendor tables, they'd benefit tremendously just from selling the however many vendor tables would fit in the space. Is it? I mean, I've never been to the IX Center in Cleveland, so maybe there's like a different room in the
Yeah, there's
same
probably a
building.
separate room that's walled off.
But this would have to be a massive room, especially if this is free. Like, listen, if it's free, there's no excuse to not try to go. If it was like $20, like I would understand people not wanting to go to spend $20 for a trade night. So like, I don't know, they would be packed if it's free because I know Card Collector Two's his trade nights is packed. It's first come first serve. So it's good to see these hobby events. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome to see. I'm looking forward to it, Ricky. I know I've talked to you about um doing an episode of Hobby Talk there. I'm trying to think the next one after this would be released on July 11th, and then the following one would be the 25th.
Oh yeah.
Could do a live stream.
Uh, that's so
Anyways,
soon.
what's that?
That's so soon.
So not next episode, but the episode after that, live from the National. Check out the show hours here. I just want to go over a bunch of information. Yeah, 6, and 6 p.m. So yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is gonna be the trade nights. List of events. Oh, did you see that? I know I'm completely pivoting here. Did you see that trade from the Knicks and the Nets? Uh,
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up because I thought it was only 4 first round picks, but I
Oh
guess
no,
it's
it's four picks, a couple swaps.
okay. So it's basically 6 first round picks.
Yes,
Holy
I think
crap!
I think one of them's protected and the other is not protected.
Protected via the Bucks, unprotected pick swap, and a second rounder. That is wild. Like, okay, if Michael Bridges is going for that much, pretty much 5.5 first round picks and a 6 round pick. What's the trade value on a guy like Jason Tatum? Like, I just want to
Well,
entertain him for
hopefully
first.
we'll never have to worry about that.
No, 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 no. But like, we've seen the market for Porzingis. We've seen the market for Smart recently. Now we're seeing the market for Bridges. We saw the market for Bradley Beal. I'm just trying to think of other players to have moved. Durant, Paul George recently. Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm Brad Stevens, obviously I'm hanging up the phone if anyone asks. But like, I don't know, 20 first round picks, like then just hang up the phone. But like, I don't know. I think for Michael Bridges, 6 first round picks is kind of crazy,
Well,
in my humble opinion.
the Knicks definitely overpaid, but that's what they wanted him specifically to team up with the Nova boys.
Yeah, and I was like confused. I'm like, what the hell? And then it was like, oh, here's how the league's reacting. I'm like, why is the league reacting like to this? And then like obviously the Nova boys were saying how excited they were, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
Mhm.
Which is bizarre. I mean, it was so long ago, that he was there and that they won 8 years ago. 2016 is 8 years ago, Ricky. That
Yeah.
is just crazy, crazy, crazy. So we talked about the national, we talked about baseball, we talked about football. Obviously, we talked about Celtics, Tatum, basketball a little bit. So the the consensus pick for the national is obviously football. Basketball, is it safe to say is number two going into the
Unfortunately,
national? What are some guys? So obviously for football, it's like Stroud and Richardson. You can maybe sprinkle in Young and Levis or whoever. Who are some guys for football? I'm sorry, for basketball that we should potentially be on the lookout for? Is it a guy like Tatum and Brown because they just won? Is it a guy like Luka because he's now been there and lost, and so didn't the Celtics a couple years ago, and then they won a couple years later? Um, couple guys like I mean, is there a couple guys to be on the lookout for moving forward, like going into the national, I should say?
Well, we know that Wemby is going to be the biggest name. That's going to that's inevitable, but it's kind of tough with him because he has like thousands of rookie cards. But I know Luca will probably be a little cheaper.
Should be, should
Should
be very cheap.
should very well be.
He sucks. He put up the most boring 30 points I've ever seen, off of like triple doink off the rim shots. Like, listen, you're making them. That's all that matters. But like, I don't know. Like he hits that like Dirk step back one leg fadeaway, like Dirk always did. But like Dirk always cashed it. No backboard, no three bounces off the rim. It would just
Hmm.
go boom right in. But like I don't. I agree
You
with you.
seem,
I think
you,
Luca's
you
a
seem
good play.
you seem kind of distraught when I said Wemby. What are
I'm
your
so distraught because I'm so sick of hearing it. I've had so many people this past week. Well, weekend. No, I wasn't even here the weekend. Was it last week? I don't even remember when. And they're like, "Oh, what boxes can I get Wemby cards out of?" Like that's like okay, like listen, I understand you want to open basketball and you want to look for the hottest young player right now who's living up to the potential. I'm all for it. Sign me up. I want to be there with you and I want you to buy the boxes from me. But like there's so many other good players to buy. And I actually want to make a shirt for the shop's website that says veteran cards are cool too, because everyone cares about these rookie cards. And I've posed a question on social media before, like why are rookie cards so much more important than veteran cards? And let me just preface with this is because people will ask like, oh, how many autos does that box come with? Or how many autos can I get? It's like, all right, if I give you an autograph of friggin' Romeo Langford or an out of 15 Luka Doncic card, which one are you going to take? People are going to take the out of 15 Luka Doncic card. But the Langford, well, I guess Langford's a bad example because he's not a rookie this year.
yeah
Pick any. You see my point, and
yeah
I think people
yeah
can see where I'm going with this. If I can give you an autograph of the third offensive lineman that the Patriots drafted this year in the 6th round, or an out of 49 gold, blue, whatever, pick your favorite color of Mahomes, what are you going to take? You're going to take the Mahomes card. This, I just please go. I
no,
can't.
keep going.
No, it's just so annoying. It's just so annoying because again, the hobby is so consistently inconsistent, and I just want a legitimate reason why we care about rookie. Yes, they're the first. Okay, I get that. Besides that, what's the difference? Besides that being their first card and 3,600 unique Trevor Lawrence rookie cards being in existence, what does it matter? I don't get it. I never will. I want to go home.
Oh, your day hasn't even started yet.
No, it hasn't.
Watch the first person that comes into the store.
Got any Wembies?
Where can I get Wemby?
Got any Wemby cards? Got any Wemby autos? Like, yeah, I do. Yeah, they're in the back.
Oh, speaking of Wemby autos, actually, I wanted to talk about. I forgot about this for a second. Um, the fact that he's in top Series 2 baseball is kind of
Stroud.
dumb. I hate that.
Stroud too.
Stroud's in that.
You said it's dumb.
What's up?
You said it's dumb.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
like
okay.
it.
Why is that?
It's taken away from baseball itself. And then a friend of mine actually pulled a redemption that had Kyle Tucker and Travis Scott autographs.
That is the like duel.
Yeah,
That is the weirdest card.
like I get it, Houston. It's a Houston connection, whatever.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But it's just I like just keep it baseball.
It's Topps Fanatics way for them to drive the sales of Series 2 because they
No,
know in the past
yeah,
couple
that's
years,
exactly what it
Series
is.
2 that Series 2 and Update Series typically perform less than Series 1 because Series 1, people get excited for the new series, the new season and all that, the new cards, the design is cool, or the new design is cool. And, just in history, years past, decades past, that first baseball set of the new year is always like the one to get to kind of collect. And then Series 2 is just a big drop off, and Update Series is a massive drop off because it comes out in October, which football season's in the middle of October.
See,
So people get, caught up with that.
Series 2 has the short prints. That's their appeal.
I mean, unless it's numbered, how much do the short prints really matter to a lot of people? I mean, they do, don't get me wrong, but like people just obviously get fixated on them being numbered,
Yeah.
or they will let you know that they're short prints. But if you don't know what you're looking for, I mean, half the time you couldn't even tell that it's a short print just because you don't know what you're looking for. Um, I wish what they would do, Fanatics, is they would have like its own set of like Fanatics athletes, kind of like a
Hmm.
champion.
Goodwin
Hold on.
champions.
Thank you. Yeah, Goodwin champions. Oh, let me just get one.
Oh, where'd you go?
Coming back. So like here's like a Goodwin's champion. Oh my god, the green screen's gonna be brutal. Oh, where's the lighting? Here we go. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'll just turn it off for a second. So like this Goodwin Champions box here. People think it's a golf box on the cover, but it's not. It's a multi-sport box with well, this is 23. It has Caleb Williams. Who's that? Jackson Holiday. Even I know there's like Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, Tiger Woods, obviously, and a bunch of other guys as well. I don't know how they come up with the product. I don't know if Upper Deck just kind of signs them to a quick deal, and then they just kind of make money off of it until they become Fanatics athletes down the road. But I wish Fanatics could easily do something like this and have your Stroud autos, your Wemby autos, your Bryce Young auto, all those guys autos in that product. But I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. And like, it's cool that like, hey, these guys throw out the first pitch. Let's give them a baseball card. I like the Tops Now idea. I think that's a great idea. But like, you're right. It takes away the magic and the lust of I'm buying Series 2 to add on to my Series 1 collection because Series 1, 2, and Update is supposed to be a 3-part set, pretty much a 3-part jumbo set.
Hmm.
But you're right. It does take away because I know people are just religiously buying Series 2 only because they can pull Wemby autos, and they actually kind of forget about the Stroud auto part, but Wemby autos because they can't pull them in anything else for the time being, unless they want collegiate autos, which of course they don't want like collegiate autos or draft pick autos, I should say, because no one around here likes the draft pick collegiate cards. So I don't know. I think it's cool, but it's also like you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think of it taking it away the lust of the baseball
Yeah,
part of it. So I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up.
because now you have people who only do basketball and football buying into baseball, and like it's cool, whatever. They're driving up sales, but taking away from baseball fans.
I mean, at least it's helping sell baseball boxes, so it looks better when Fanatics does their taxes next year. They're able to see that Series 2 performed pretty well. But like, obviously, we're not going to be surprised if they do this again and again and again until they can make the licensed football and basketball products with the
Hmm.
Wemby autos and such. Like Update Series, are they just going to put more Wemby autos in it? Like, let's say Wemby throws out another first pitch. Well, here comes more cards of this second first pitch that he has. Or like, let's say he's in Texas and the Rangers have him come into the booth to talk for an inning, be interviewed for an inning, which happens all the time. Oh, here's a card of Wemby, being a guest in the booth, and here's his 1 of 1 and his out of tens, and he had the short print to look for in Update Series or whatever. It's like it's written on the wall, and it's kind of annoying because now that the more I talk about it, the more I get infuriated because the more the baseball is getting distracted upon. Does that make sense?
See,
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Rant, vent about, just get off our chest, blow smoke, scream into the mics, anything like that before we wrap up today's episode?
I think we screamed about everything we need to scream about for now.
maybe we can, obviously we'll get into our outgoing takes in just a moment, but like, is there anything like good maybe we can kind of like just talk about really quickly? Like how, I don't even know. I got nothing good to talk about right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, Red Sox are hot. Chicago
yeah,
sports fucking suck.
yeah. Red Sox look good. Yeah, last night they looked really good. Um,
Oh wow, they finally lose a game, and now it's
the haters are
now
back.
now they're terrible.
The haters are back. I'm gonna think of something. Oh, I posted about the booklet that I pulled.
Oh yeah,
I didn't pull it. Excuse me. I didn't pull it. Hold on. I gotta pull it up real quick.
yeah, that thing's
I
sick.
and it's crazy to me to think that. Oh, hold on. I'm doing this backwards. Here we go. It's crazy that this card here has just about every top tier athlete from these 6 different sports, with the exception of Sergio Perez. If that was Max Verstappen, that card's in my collection all day. You got Curry, who is by far the best shooter of all time, who is arguably a top 5, definitely top 10 player of all time. Herbert, young up and coming star, whatever, say what you want. Acuna, generational talent, just got to stay healthy. And you got Nadal and Haaland, and then obviously Perez. This is 2 of 2. I've showed it to a couple people, Ricky. And as awesome as it is, guess what one person said to me? Please just take a wild guess what they said to me.
It's not licensed.
Nope. Oh yeah, yes. But yes. That's what they said, and then no, it's not licensed.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. What are we supposed to license here? What are we supposed to license on this
it's
card?
six.
You have 6 different guys who have like contracts with 6 different companies. It's like what? What am I supposed to do? I don't understand, Ricky. I don't. People. Oh, this was supposed to be good, but it's turning into knots. But people just like. I know this is on YouTube, and there's a presence, and people can watch it, and they can consume it as they wish, and get their own opinion about whatever we talk about, and whatever they other videos and such that they talk about, that other people talk about, and the other content that they consume. But this notion of unlicensed products is driving me through a wall. This is supposed to be a good little thing here, and I'm gonna turn it back to good, is because right now we're getting a lot of Leaf products that have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. It has quarterbacks that are coming out for next year. It has a bunch of great up and coming prospects too. We're going to be seeing what's his name? I can't think of his name. Ethan Holiday autos soon. Ethan Salas autos. Paul Skeens autos still are in unlicensed Leaf products. So there is just so much meat and juice on the bone at an affordable price for people, but the notion of it has to be licensed just makes no sense. I mean, if you want it licensed, then go pay for it. If you want a licensed Victor Wembanyama autograph, go pay for it. Or a licensed CJ Stroud auto, go pay for it. Or you can buy that unlicensed auto for $150. I don't know about you, Ricky, but I think $150 is much more consumable for your average collector than, I don't know what the tops now autos of Stroud are going for, but they're not even licensed, actually. Now that I think of it, they're not even licensed. Well, it would have to be select draft pick autos, which even those are like, $4, $5, $6, $7, $800, which again, 150 is still more consumable. So does the unlicensed thing matter to you, Ricky? I forget where you stand on this.
Me personally, if I'm collecting, no, it does not matter. As long as like as long as it's an autograph, if it is an autograph, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of where I thought your point was, your
Yeah.
stance on it was, because like we were going back. Let's go back to our collecting conversation. Is like we're buying the card because of the player on the card, because we like that player or that team or whatever. That's why we're buying it. We're not buying it because it says Red Sox on the front, or it says Nationals, Dodgers, whatever, whoever people are collecting for. It's because of the name on the back of the jersey. That's what we're buying. The name of the player on the card, on the physical on the physical trading card.
Yeah, no, like I said, when I dig through those dollar boxes, even if I find a dollar panini Juan Soto card, I'm still gonna
Mhm.
grab it. I don't care.
And I want to. I just kind of thought of this idea like past couple days, but I didn't know how like good it was or sounded. Like I want to do like a series on how to collect or how to be a collector. And I don't know how much traction that would get just because this hobby has so far and few between collectors. But like it's such a lost art of collecting, but it's the one thing that's kept this hobby around for the past 100 years is collecting. People weren't
Mhm.
flipping cards in the 1930s. They weren't flipping them in the 1950s. They would trade, they'd have fun, they'd maybe sell a duplicate or whatever. Once you get into like the 70s and the 80s, and even during the junk wax era and the boom then, people were doing the whole buying and selling thing and such like that. And even when sports cards, specifically baseball cards, crashed, people still were collectors. After the big, kind of that crash was in 94 when the baseball season ended. Here comes 1995, and guess who's still around? The collectors. They're the ones that are still buying the baseball cards then. 96, people still buying 96 tops and collecting that set. It'll always be around, it'll always be a thing. And I'm glad that there's a different element to the hobby, keeps it fresh and exciting, which I like. But man, we need more collectors. And I think this is maybe a topic for maybe next episode or again, maybe the series that I talk about. But I'll just kind of wrap it up there because we're over an hour. So, do you have an outgoing take, good sir?
Um, no, actually, I do like what we just talking about. Collecting, stay true to your roots. Always, even if you want to consider yourself a flipper,
Hmm.
whatever investor, just have someone that you collect. It makes it a lot more fun.
I like that. Yeah, you can buy, you can sell, you can trade all you want, but have that one guy, just one. We're not asking for you to have this whole binder collection, which just one guy, one whoever it is, whatever sport, whatever player, doesn't matter. Just that one guy, just to call yourself a collector too. And I think that's very important. And I really like that take. But I'm really puzzled, Ricky. Are we not buying James Wood anymore?
No, we're
Because
still buying them.
okay,
We're
because
still buying them. We're still
okay.
buying. He's close. Him and
He,
Cruz are playing well in AAA right now, so we might
I'm
see both of them by the time September comes around.
I'm smelling like early August, late July. I feel like the trade deadline kind of might play a factor into that. Like obviously they're not getting traded, but like players coming off the team potentially.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think they're gonna have them come off the All-Star before the All-Star break, take 5 days off, and then come back. No, they're gonna play the rest of the way. And I do think we'll see both of them this year, which is beyond exciting. My
As
outgoing take is I just kind of piggyback, collect who you like, find that one guy that you like. You got into this hobby for a specific reason, whether it's because you saw this exciting play on football in a football game, or this awesome dunk in a basketball game, or you just grew up watching this guy collect somebody. And I think that's a really good outgoing take. So piggybacking off of you. Another thing I want to kind of talk about is obviously people want to get ahead of the curve on some of these guys. I think now is a really good time to get ahead of the curve on some of these prospects, these other prospects that we might be seeing. Obviously Wyatt Langford came back. He's playing fairly well. Junior Caminero will probably come back later this year. We're going to see Jackson Holiday again this year at some point. So get ahead of the curve on one of those kind of guys before obviously James Wood and Dylan Cruz, another couple great examples. And I think you'll be in a pretty good spot, especially if you do play the flipping aspect of it. And right now, baseball is the sport. And I'd like to think that people should give its respect and let baseball have the limelight for a little bit. But of course, once I open the doors in 3 minutes here, oh, do you have any Wembanyamas? Do you have any CJ
Sure.
Stroud? But Ricky, that will do it. I can't wait for next episode. It's going to be a very exciting one. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. Press all the buttons, and we'll see you for next episode. But until then, oh, you can't even see it. Peace out.